All right, so continuing with the implicit approach, you got this 7x cubed to start. Take that derivative as is. At 21x squared. We are adding on to that. Got a quantity here, raised to a power of 4, so I got to use a chain rule. Got to bring down that 4. Got to multiply that quantity. Subtract 1 away from that 4. Since I'm using the chain rule, got to take the derivative of the inside, which is a product of two variables. So I attach on here a derivative using a product rule. Derivative of x is 1 times y plus, got x times derivative of y, which is 1 dy dx. That completes your chain. That equals, on the other side, you got a 2y cubed. So bring down the 3, multiply 2, get 6. Got y squared. Took a derivative of a y term. So dy dx is attached. Plus 9, well, that goes to 0. Okay, locate the dy dx's. dy dx over here. Attached to that dy dx through multiplication is a 6y squared. Got a dy dx right here. Unfortunately, it is stuck inside parentheses, meaning I have to take what's in front of the parentheses and distribute through. So, if I write this out with that distribution, you got 21x squared. I'm distributing this 4xy cubed through. When I multiply this 4xy cubed to y, I got 4. I got xy cubed times y. Add on. That's your 4xy cubed multiplied to the x dy dx. You got 4xy cubed times x dy dx. And that all equals 6y squared dy dx. Now that we've taken care of the distribution, identify where your dy dx's are at again. Got my dy dx over here still with that 6y squared. Got my dy dx here attached through multiplication to all of that stuff. All right, just working my way back to this addition sign. I want to take those underlined pieces, get them on one side. So this is that optional step. So this underlined piece is staying on the left side. I am bringing over this underlined piece, so subtract that over. As for the other parts, you've got this 21x squared, got to subtract that over. I'll put that on the right side. Got this combination of 4xy cubed times y, subtract that over. That completes the optional step. Now ready to take the dy dx out. Solving for dy dx, you've got the negative 21x squared minus the 4 times the quantity xy cubed times y, all divided by my leftovers. 4 xy quantity cubed times x minus 6y squared. All right, so if we're going to write the equation of the tangent to this curve, start with this equation that represents the curve, and let's differentiate implicitly. All right, same procedure we've been doing. So taking the derivative, got 2x to start. Got to be careful as I subtract this product of x times y. The reason is you're subtracting this product rule, right? So the negative gets applied to that product rule. Going through the product rule like we've done numerous times now, derivative of x is 1 times y plus x times derivative of y, which is 1 dy dx. That completes the product. You're adding on the 3y squared for that derivative, dy dx. That all equals derivative of 11, which is 0. Okay. Normally, if we're finding dy dx, we solve for dy dx from here, right? The dy dx terms on one side, everything that's not a dy dx term on the other, go through that whole charade. But keep in mind why we're finding dy dx on this one. Dy dx on this one represents the slope for our tangent line. If we know that, we've got this point over here where x is 3 and y is 2. Let's go ahead and replace all the x's and the y's. X with 3, y with 2. When I do that, I've got 2 times, it'd be 3, minus, all right, y here is 2 plus x is 3 times dy dx, plus 3 times, this would be 2 squared, times dy dx, all equals 0. Now I know when I carry this negative through, that changes the signs in here. I know I've got 6 then, minus 2, minus 3, dy dx. This would be what? This is 4 times 3, so that's 12 dy dx. All right, let's put the dy dx's together. We've got negative 3 here, positive 12 there. That's 9 of them. Over here I've got 4, so subtract 4 over. Dy dx, which represents your slope, is going to be negative 4/9. We're asked to write the equation of the tangent. You got your slope, you got your point, so let's write that equation. The equation would be y minus y value, which is 2, equals slope, which is negative 4/9, times x minus x value, which is 3. There's your answer.